Good evening. My name is Bejide Oluwafemi David. In this video, we are going to learn the practical application of spatial interpolation. So we'll deal with only one type of spatial interpolation, which is the use of IDW. So you might want to ask me, what is the meaning of spatial interpolation? Spatial interpolation is a method of estimating values of a variable at unmeasured locations based on values from nearby. In a nutshell, it is a method of using known values to obtain or predict unknown values in space. For instance, let's say I want to know the noise pollution in my environment. So I will use my decibel. Decibel is an instrument to measure noise pollution. So I will use a decibel to pick the noise volume, the volume and intensity of noise in some places. So when I perform interpolation, it's going to show me a map of noise in areas where I did not pick data. So that is just a simple way of performing spatial interpolation. That is, you use known to get unknown, just like in mathematics. So we have types of spatial interpolation. The first one that we are going to practicalize with the use of ArcGIS is what we call the inverse distance weighing. The second one is kriging. The third one is spline. The fourth one is trend surface analysis. So as I've said, we are going to deal with how to perform IDW in ArcMap. So what are different areas of application of spatial interpolation? We can use it in environmental science, as I've mentioned earlier on, for estimating pollution data. Let's say you want to know the pollution, the noise level at different places in a local environment. You don't need to be taking all the samples in all the environment. Just pick some samples to represent the whole. You can also use it in temperature, the precipitation, the soil properties. Let's say you want to map the soil of an area, the soil pH, the soil nutrients, or the nitrogen in the soil. You just pick some samples, then you perform what we call interpolation. You can also use it in geology. Let's say you are looking for gold, you find a gold here, you find a gold here, you find a gold there. So you are looking for a place that you can find gold using the data that you have. You can also use it in agriculture for your soil moisture and everything. You can use it in urban planning, air quality, noise level, and in public health, the spread of diseases. So let's quickly go to the application of spatial interpolation. So in this video, we are going the practical aspect of interpolation we want to do interpolation of pollutants of PM 2.5 in some states in Nigeria. All right, let's go. So I'll launch my ArcMap. I'll bring in my data. My study area. So it's inside this pollutants data. So let me add it. I've added this is my study area. So before we move to that, let me just go to that pollutants data and see the data that we are going to use for this pollutants data, pollution, asthma. Okay, let's go to this data. Let's go to this data. So we can see some locations in Nigeria. This is EXUT, that is Ekiti State University Teaching Hospital. This is FMC Ido Ekiti. This is General Hospital Ikere Ekiti. This is so those are hospitals in those 3 states I mentioned. This is for Iju, Idonre, Ile-Oluji, Ore, Ondo, FMC Owo. So this we actually need the location. We need the location, then we need the longitude and the latitude of the places involved. So we need some little data for each of them. Equivalent data for EXUT is this for year 2018, this for 2019, but we'll be dealing with 1 year. So this is for EXUT is 4.99. This is for FMC 4.74, like that. So as I've always said in my videos, you always save your file as CSV, command separated values. You save it as CSV. Okay, so if you don't know how to do it, once you have produced your data like this, you just come to save as, then you find a place. I'm saving it in pollution asthma because the research is on asthma, so you save it as CSV and you press save. So you replace it, then you can close it. So make sure once again to save your data as a CSV. So now we now bring in our data into the ArcMap environment. Okay, mind you, the same process I am using in this ArcMap is the same process for ArcGIS Pro. So I'll bring in my data. Let's say I'll bring in my data. Let me go to that pollution data. I saved it with data, so I have added it. The next thing I want to do, I will just come to this add data as X and Y data. So this is the X is for longitude, the Y is for latitude. I'll just press OK. Okay, now if you are working with ArcGIS Pro, you just add data table as X and Y. Okay, maybe I'll make a different video about that. So I've displayed this XY data. So the next thing I will do, I will come to my search bar. I will press IDW, that is the inverse distance weighting. So I'll press search. So let's pay attention. I'll click on IDW Spatial Analyst. Okay, IDW Spatial Analyst. I'll bring in my data, which is that I've displayed as XY data. Okay, so it's loading. Let's wait as it loads. All right, so the data field I want to display the PM 2.5 data for year 2018. Now after you have done that, you should go to this environment. Once you have gotten to the environment, come to processing extent. In this processing extent, press default, and your study area, that is the area of interest, is what you are going to select. As I've said, let me repeat myself again. Come to processing extent, your area of interest, which is my study area, is what you are going to select. Then you now come to raster analysis. You scroll down. So under this mask, you scroll, then you pick study area. As I've said, first of all, under this environment, come to processing extent, select your area of interest. Okay, that is your shapefile. Then you come to raster analysis, you select mask and select your shapefile, which is your area of interest. So you press OK and you press OK. So it is rolling. So while our inverse distance weighting is moving, you make sure you subscribe or like my channel. All right, let me toggle this off. So this is the spatial interpolation that I've performed. So I can just toggle the XY data. So you can just right click on this, come to properties, and you can change your classes to 5. You can change it to 5. So what it's trying to tell you is that all the values here are the same, all the values here are the same, all the values here are the same. So we can see the value 3.8 to 4.7 is for the green. So this here it is lowest, the PM 2.5 is lowest here, followed by, let me change the color of this place to like yellow. So let me press OK. So here it is up, it is low. Then here it is average. Let me put green. It is average. So it is high here, it is high, and it is very high in this area. So that is how to perform spatial interpolation. Make sure you like my video and subscribe. Thank you.